So at the beginning of the year, we drafted each of us a team of 5 movies, and we are trying to see which team of 5 movies can have the total gross revenue, the highest amount.
We're gonna go see Oppenheimer and Barbie in the same day, so I'm just excited for like that whole experience.
I'm really excited for the digital release of Killers of the Flower Moon, but that's actually having a limited run in theaters.
We have some t-shirts and we're gonna slowly start coming up with more products that we can put out on our store. Welcome to Backseat Directing,
where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
And we put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on this episode, we're recapping the 2023 box office.
3, 2, 1, action.
So we're halfway through 2023. There's been a bunch of movies that have come out, both good and bad. There's a bunch of movies still to come out for the rest of the year. We're excited. We did a movie review kind of the movies that we're looking forward to and a box office draft in the early portion of this year. So now we can kind of get an update on that, as well as just an update on the movies, which movies we've liked, which movies have performed well in theaters, and what movies we're looking forward to in the later half of the year.
Yeah, this box office draft that we started has been a lot of fun, although it's had me biting my nails a lot this year. I don't know about you, but I've been having a good time.
Yeah, I'm very excited that was such a good idea.
To kind of explain the premise of the idea, if anyone hasn't seen that episode of the show yet, you should go back and watch our box office draft episode. What we did at the beginning of the year.
50.
Oh, good memory. Yeah. As we went back so at the beginning of the year, we drafted each of us a team of 5 movies, and we are trying to see which team of 5 movies can have the total gross revenue, the highest amount. And Aaron and myself are competing to see which one of us wins. So my 5 movies, if I'm remembering them correctly, is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I have Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Okay, sorry, I thought you were telling me no.
Well, I pointed down because it's the last movie on your list here.
Okay. And then I have Fast 10.
Yep.
I have Across the Spider-Verse, and I have Barbie.
That is correct. I have the Super Mario Brothers, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Little Mermaid, The Marvels, and Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. So we picked those at the beginning of the year. We did a draft. So I picked one, Andrew picked one. We went back and forth. I actually think Andrew went first. As he normally does on these random coin flip drafts.
I got Dead Reckoning first. Let's see if that was a good pick.
Drafts are kind of our thing for this show. And this one's really cool because it's spanning across the time of the year. And there's going to be a definitive winner. Like, it doesn't matter who thinks you had the best team. It's who actually brought in the most amount of money, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited to find out where things go. We have half a year of movies now set behind us. So for this episode, we're going to kind of catch up with our box office draft, find out where we're at with our totals, how our movies have performed thus far. And then we're going to look to the future and see what upcoming movies we're excited for, what our expectations are for our movies that are drafted but haven't played yet. And we have quite a bit to discuss.
Yeah, I think we should start off with our box office draft because that'll kind of cover a lot of the movies that have already come out this year. And then we can kind of touch on the other movies that maybe aren't on this list. But before we do so, I wanted to talk maybe a little bit more formally of us releasing merch.
All right.
Yeah, we have some t-shirts and we're going to slowly start coming up with more products that we can put out on our store. But these shirts that we're wearing now with our Backseat Directing logo, with the little rear view mirror of us there with a megaphone and a camera.
Our logo.
That you can get these shirts. I believe you can get them in this color yellow and then also in white as well. And I'm going to snag one of those. I'm excited that we have this opportunity for the fans to maybe show their appreciation for the show.
Yeah,
we really don't make a ton of profit off of these, which I'm totally cool with because I just want to get these out there.
Yeah, when Aaron says we don't make a ton of profit, we're like really close to selling these at cost just because we want we want to grow the show is our like main priority right now. And I am really excited to share something we love with as many people as would be interesting to have it share with them. The shirts, I don't think we can get them to come pre-wrinkled like ours.
That's custom made.
We did this at home. We did this ourselves.
Yeah, it's kind of like tie-dye, like just adds a little bit of personality.
It's a flair. But no, you can. So yeah, like you said, we can get them on the Etsy shop under Backseat Directing. And if people want to order shirts, or if they're interested in new, different designs, definitely let us know in the comments. Even if we just see people buying a few shirts, maybe we'll add some different designs to the shop. If there's some interest, we can design different things like cups and hats and shirts, which I would love to add to the shop.
Yeah, like leave a comment down below too of like what kind of merch you would like to see from Backseat Directing. Like would a hoodie be cool? Would you want a hat? Would
I'd love
you
a hoodie.
Want a cup or a mug or something? Like I know that Andrew would be really excited about a hoodie. I think hats would be really cool. Andrew normally wears a hat on the episode, but now he's got his hair all styled up cute. So no hat today. But yeah, just let us know like what kind of stuff you'd like to see from us and we'll try to make it happen. But yeah, you can click on the link in the description of this video, or you can go to our Instagram page at Backseat Directing, and on our link tree, you can click on merch and it'll bring you to our Etsy store where you can snag one of these shirts.
Yes. And we do want to let you guys know, we'll stop talking about this after this, I promise. But we do want to let you guys know that you do not have to spend money at all to support the show if you don't want to, and if you don't have money to spend. We are overjoyed and more than happy for anybody to support the show just by listening or watching or sharing with a friend, following, rating, all of which is free and means the absolute world to us as well.
Absolutely. All right, let's move into our box office draft. And we'll kind of go in the order that we drafted them, which is also the order that they came out for the most part. So we started off the draft, and Andrew has Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That was the first movie that came out on either of our teams, and that movie brought in $476 million. Was that higher or lower than?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Cool. Let's continue down your list here. We have Fast 10, which you were banking on being a home run hitter, since a lot of their movies have brought in $1 billion+. And it didn't do too bad, honestly. It brought in $700.2 million. Right now, that's the highest one on your team.
Yeah, but still a disappointing number, in my opinion, for this particular movie, which I expected to be above 900 million with the introduction of all these new huge stars like Jason Momoa and Brie Larson, on top of what they already have injected into the movie, the built-in fan base, all the incredible star power the franchise already had. So I expected more, but I'm glad that it earned so well overseas to kind of give my team a little bit of a chance so far.
The next movie that Andrew has is probably one of, if not the best movie of the year. We have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but how did that translate into box office gross or net? So we have $617.3 million. So pretty solid. It's still in theaters. I saw that this past week. It brought in 12 million. So that's pretty decent. It's been out
good for like a fifth week. Yeah.
So not too bad.
Really good.
And then you have 2 movies coming out in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to be able to see your team kind of fully loaded and locked out here pretty soon.
July is going to close my team out.
Yeah. So you have Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, which came out last week from when this episode came out, next week for when we're recording this episode. And then 2 weeks after where we are today is Barbie. So that'll kind of round out your team. What are your predictions for Mission Impossible and Barbie?
I predict Mission Impossible at an $800 million movie. I think it absolutely can do it. If I'm hoping it has a run similar to Top Gun Maverick and crashes through that ceiling, but I'm expecting it around 800 million, and that's what it would disappoint me if it was below that.
I think Top Gun Maverick was so high because it was able to stay in theaters so long. I don't think this one will be in that long, but I definitely would not be surprised at it bringing in 800 million.
Cruise will be fighting for it to stay in theaters because it's not getting the IMAX run that he wants. So yeah. I think he's already arguing, with these big movie theater chains. So I think he's going to fight for it to stay in theaters. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, it's only getting a weak IMAX run, unfortunately, because of the juggernauts that are following it. Oppenheimer secured all the IMAX theaters. So I hope that both of these movies, I'm hoping for Barbie to be a smash success.
And what do you think that'll bring in though? 5, maybe 6?
No.
Maybe?
No.
Less?
700.
700?
Everyone's
That's
talking.
high.
Everyone's talking about Barbie.
I feel like the marketing has been really good.
Barbie has been word of mouth for everybody. It's all over Twitter. It's all over social media. Everyone is.
Yeah, but you know what other movie was also all over social media and
What,
Twitter
Fast
and
X?
stuff? No, The Flash, which we'll talk about a little more later.
I don't think Barbie's going to disappoint though. I think Barbie's going to be good. Greta Gerwig
That's
is a
true.
really
That's
talented
true.
individual.
So your total right now, you have 1,793,672,481
Which, if you're counting correctly, yes, is only like 490 million more than Mario Brothers made.
Yes, which brings us to my team, which my first movie on my list here is Super Mario Bros. That came out to be $1.3 billion.
300 million.
Yeah, I said that a little weird. $1.3 billion.
Yo.
I didn't know in my head if I wanted to read the whole number or if I just wanted to do the point. And I decided halfway through that I just wanted to do the point, but it was too late.
And now we're here.
$1.3 billion. I also have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That brought in $838 million. So both of those are higher than all of your movies, which makes my heart happy.
2 highest grossing movies of the year.
And then Little Mermaid still in theaters. Maybe not as high as I was expecting it to be, but it brought in a decent amount of money at $529 million.
Yeah, I really needed Spider-Verse to outperform that, so I'm glad it did that.
Yeah, it did. Not by much, but I'm glad that right now my lowest movie is still above your lowest movie. I feel like that's safe for me. Like if I can keep getting to that Ant-Man
It's
number.
going to be hard to lose to Ant-Man.
Yeah. If I can keep getting to that Ant-Man number, I feel like I'm in good shape. Because right now my total is $2,709,281,634. So that is 2.7 billion compared to almost 1.8 billion. So I'm a billion ahead of you.
So I just need Oppenheimer and Mission Impossible to beat Aquaman and Captain Marvel by 500 million each.
Yes, to tie.
I think it's doable. I think it's a small chance, but I think it's doable. Because I think that there's not been great press for either of those movies.
Yeah, they definitely are making me nervous. Luckily, I have a good amount of
You
buffer.
have a huge buffer because of Mario.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I have going for me is that Barbie, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer all come out right around the same time. So I think it might like diversify where the money is going to go for everyone going to watch movies. So,
But the summer is the biggest time for blockbuster movies.
It's true. But also when movies are closer together, they tend not to make as much. You know, that's why there's certain dates throughout the year that are very like coveted, you know? And luckily Mario came out early in the year so people could spend all their money while they still had it.
So ridiculous that Mario did so well.
So do you want to kind of go into all the movies that we've seen
Sure.
this year and kind of talk about what we liked about them and all that stuff?
Yeah. So I have a list here of all my theater experiences this year. I've been to the movie theater 15 times. It'll be 16 tomorrow because I've already bought tickets to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny tomorrow on Saturday. I saw Mario. I saw Ant-Man. I saw The Flash, Guardians Volume 3, then Across the Spider-Verse twice, No Hard Feelings, Elemental, The Little Mermaid, Knock at the Cabin, Creed 3, Shazam 2, John Wick 4, and Air.
Nice. I've seen probably half of those.
I also saw Mario twice.
Yes. So you've seen Mario and Across the Spider-Verse the most. Can you guess which movie I've seen the most this year?
In theaters? Across the Spider-Verse. Oh, movie.
That came out this year.
You saw Across the Spider-Verse with me twice.
Yep.
So I would say that.
I've seen Creed 3 times.
You've seen Creed 3 times? When?
Yeah. It's on Amazon Prime right now. So I've watched it. I watched it last week and I watched it this week.
Why?
I watched it while I was working out.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I really like that movie a lot.
It is a good movie. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. It was just like a good, like, kind of background movie that I could kind of put on while I was working out, something that I haven't seen a bunch of times. So
I also saw two streaming releases that came out this year, which is The Pale Blue Eye and Ghosted.
I saw The Pale Blue Eye.
Ghosted was pretty bad.
Really?
Tough watch.
That
The
came
cameos
out
were
on
good.
Apple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have Apple.
But I feel like realistically, when you look at the amount of movies that have come out this year, that really isn't that much, but it feels like I've been going to the theater more than ever.
Yeah, you've been going. I mean, almost every other week.
I'm going to be going at least once a week for like the next like 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out. What's one of the movies that have come out that you haven't seen that you would want to?
I know I
Or
have.
have you seen only the ones that you want to see?
No, I've missed some of the ones that I wanted to see. Dungeons and Dragons, and I didn't end up seeing that. That's the first one that comes to mind.
I started that one. That one was fun. I just haven't finished it yet.
Clearly not fun enough.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah. I didn't see it in theaters, it was at home and it was late, so I wanted to go to bed, so I stopped watching it and just haven't picked it back up. But it was a fun movie, and I can see too, as we're like preparing for our Dungeons and Dragons game, I can see how the people who are really into that world would really appreciate this movie, because they do a lot of fan service, but it's also like kind of subtle. So like if you don't play, you might not pick up on all of it.
As much as the Easter eggs.
Right.
There's two A24 movies that I want to see this year. I think they're still having a run in some theaters. It's Past Lives, which is being reviewed insanely well, and Talk to Me, which just came into theaters. And I would like to see both of those in the theater if I can get the opportunity. I really need a movie theater membership is what I need, because I want to go nonstop.
Well, the problem is the two that are close to us don't really have memberships.
They don't have them at all. Yeah.
Does Hollywood 18 have memberships?
I think it does, but the seats are so uncomfortable.
Andrew hates it whenever we go to that theater. Every time it's like, but the seats though. We went to Across the Spider-Verse for the second time, and I thought you were going to lay down in the aisle.
I almost did.
I don't know why you didn't.
I was planning to. But the movie's so good that it distracted me enough that I stopped noticing it.
Yeah.
What about you? Is there anything you wish you had seen? Is there anything you wish you hadn't seen?
I haven't seen The Flash. I'm glad that I saw it, but I definitely don't want to see it again.
I'd sell back my ticket to Flash, Shazam 2, and Air, and Knock at the Cabin.
I liked Air.
I thought Air was okay.
I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I'm not saying that it was like the best movie of the year or anything, but I enjoyed it.
I also really wish I hadn't seen Ghosted. I want that time in my life back.
I want to see Elemental.
Elemental was really good.
Yeah.
I'd love for us to do an episode on it when you see it.
Yeah, I've yet to see Super Mario Bros. But when that comes out on streaming, I'll watch it. What other ones? I'm definitely fine with passing on Fast 10. I'd like to see Indiana Jones. I just wasn't able to go this next weekend with you.
Fast 10 is the only movie on my list of my box office movies that I haven't seen. So I guess I'd like to see that also.
Yeah.
I had in my mind so many movie marathons. I did the Mission Impossible one at least to a degree.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you
that
did
feels
3
good.
of those in a day.
Yeah.
I did 2 of them in a day. So yeah, that was a lot back to back.
There's still
to that.
time.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so what movies upcoming are you most excited for this year? I have a list here if you want to hear some of the big ones.
Yeah, let's hear the list.
So there's actually a movie on Netflix that comes out today, so I feel obligated to mention that, which is The Outlaws, coming out today, July 7th, with Adam Devine and Nina Dobrev. And moving on to bigger movies, frankly. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is coming out July 12th. Oppenheimer and Barbie coming out on July 21st. And then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. How's that for a tongue twister? August 2nd. And then we have, looks like the next big release after that is going to be Blue Beetle coming out on August 18th. The Expendables 4.
What?
Apparently coming out September 22nd, flying under both of our radars. Terrible podcast.
Okay. Terrible marketing.
The Paw Patrol movie, Paw Patrol the Mighty, is coming out
gosh.
on September 23rd. I think my nephew's going to be so excited for this. It's Paw Patrol characters, but with superpowers. I saw the trailer during Elemental. Craven the Hunter's coming out October 6th. I'm really excited for the digital release of Killers of the Flower Moon, but that's actually having a limited run in theaters. It's going to appear in theaters only at first on August 6th before going on to Apple TV. And then Saw 10 is coming out October 27th. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie is coming out the same day. Big day for horror. Dune Part 2 is November 3rd. The Marvels is November 10th. The Killer is a Netflix movie I'm excited for with David Fincher directing, coming out November 10th. The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is coming out November 17th.
Wow, there's so many.
Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, December 20th. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, December 20th as well. And then Rebel Moon will come out on Netflix, directed by Zack Snyder, on December 22nd. Zack Snyder's Star Wars movie, as they're saying.
Yeah. I'm so thinking a little more in the present. I'm very excited for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Oh, and Wonka on December 15th, by the way.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited for Mission Impossible.
That's your number one for the year, or?
For the rest of the year, I'd say that's probably the one I'm most excited for.
You heard it here first, folks. Aaron's more excited for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning than either of his two movies. So forego the idea of seeing the Marvels. Don't worry about seeing Aquaman. Just see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning another second or third time.
Don't worry, I have $1 billion to spare.
He's endorsed my movie, so I could use the help anyway, like he said.
And then we're gonna go see Oppenheimer and Barbie in the same day, so I'm just excited for like that whole experience. And we're gonna be filming 2 podcasts that day, so that's gonna be, or maybe 3. I don't know. We have got a lot of stuff to do that day, so that's gonna be a busy, fun day. And I feel like that's what movies are about, is like the experience, you know, and
that's why I love the theater so much.
Yeah.
And I hate the thought
There's
of
no
theater.
distractions there.
Yeah. It's a real true movie experience, and it's filled with people who paid $10 to see the movie with you. So it's a group of people who care about that theater experience and that movie experience enough to go there to all enjoy it together. I think it's so special. And that's why I like the idea of this box office draft, for us to play with it and have fun. I hate the idea of the box office dying. I think not enough people appreciate the movie theater experience with the advent of streaming and the way society is changing. I want it to like live on. I want my grandkids to be able to buy a ticket and see a movie in theaters and have that. I don't want them to just watch movies that come out on Apple TV Plus or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think the viewing experience is far better in theaters. Like, again, just the focus aspect, right? Where everyone's in this dark room. We've all, for the most part, have agreed to put our phones away. We're all just eating snacks, chilling. A lot of times I'll get some chicken tenders, you know, and eat while we're watching the movie. Like, I feel like that's how movies should be seen and watched and enjoyed at least one time for each movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and those movies that go to theaters tend to be much better than the movies that are coming out on streaming.
You're right.
Like, there's a lot of movies that come out on streaming that are fun and enjoyable, and it was like a good time, but they still don't compare to theater releases, you know? And a lot of it is because, yeah, there's more money that's put into it, but sometimes that's not even the case. Like The Gray Man, wasn't that like $250 or $200 million budget for that movie?
Like that.
And it was like, okay. You know, like it was
very okay.
Yeah, it was fun, you know, like I've put it on a second time, like when I was working out or something, just had it in the background. Like it's okay, you know, but it's definitely not Mission Impossible, you know, like it's not Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or anywhere close to Across the Spider-Verse. Like we went and saw that movie twice. Like I'm glad that I got to experience that in theaters, because I didn't get to see the first one in theaters, the Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I really encourage people to go see movies in theaters. Help keep these theaters alive. It's a fun date experience. It's a fun family experience. It's fun to go for the weekend. Like, go by yourself. It's a good time. You get that isolation and really experience the movie with no distractions at all if you go by yourself. I absolutely adore the movie theater experience, whether it's IMAX, 3D, standard viewing. Like, it's just such a better way to experience a movie, especially for the first time. And I want movies that are older to be brought back into theaters so that I can have the theater experience for them. It's really worth it.
That'd be really cool. What are some movies that you would definitely go to if they released back in theaters right now?
I mean, I would go see The Dark Knight, of course.
That'd be really cool. Did you see that in theaters when it first came out?
No,
because I did not.
I was 9, so I didn't have as much autonomy.
Yeah.
But I did go see The Dark Knight Rises in theaters when that came out.
Yeah, I didn't see that one in
Which was a
theaters
cool
either.
experience. I'd love to go see Interstellar in theaters.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a really good one.
Inception.
Inception. Oh, yeah. Top of the list right there as well.
Jurassic Park, the first one.
The Matrix. I was too young when that one came out as well. Jurassic Park, the first one, like you just said. Amazing. These are some of my top favorite movies of all time.
There's a lot of movies too that I look back and I'm like, man, that movie is amazing. And then maybe we do our ranking scale and it's a little bit lower than I was thinking, but I hold it so high because I had so much fun in the theater watching it. Like the movie Nonstop with Denzel Washington and Chris Pine. I love that movie.
Unstoppable?
Unstoppable.
Nonstop is a Liam Neeson movie, I think.
Unstoppable. But I remember like being on the edge of my seat. You know, I watched it with my dad. Like it was just a fun experience, you know? And I love that movie because of the theater.
Yeah, there's so many like memories I have with the theater experience, and like my first viewing of Man of Steel in theaters, or my first date with my fiance was to see Batman versus Superman.
How romantic.
But it creates a very ingrained experience of that viewing of the movie. I saw The Fighter in theaters, Karate Kid 2012, like
Yeah, me too.
it's and all the Avengers movies. Like it's such Deadpool. Like that was so much fun in the theater. Could you imagine watching Cap wield Mjolnir for the first time in your PJs
room.
on the couch? Yeah.
Be like, oh, like that was cool.
Oh, that was really cool.
No, I had goosebumps. Everyone's cheering. You know,
We're
like,
screaming in the theater. Like when Matt Murdock first showed up, my jaw hit the floor in the theater. No Way Home.
When the other Spider-Man showed up, you know, like we were in that movie theater with 10 other people that we were all friends, you know, and we were sitting on opposite ends, and I remember just, you know, like turning down and looking down the row, and we looked at each other and we're like, yes, you know, like those experiences make the movie like the next level, you know, like one of my favorite parts about going to the theater is that we go with so many of our friends, and then afterwards we sit in the parking lot and talk for like 10 minutes about the movie.
Yeah, I almost feel like sometimes we shouldn't talk so that we could have our first thoughts on here, but it's just too much fun to...
No, we have to.
Yeah. I have to know like what everyone else thought about the movie so I can either argue with them or we can revel in
exactly
our shared love or hatred.
We talked a lot after the Flash movie, for sure.
I'd love to see Seven in theaters. I really would.
That would be a cool.
The Matrix would be so much fun. Prisoners
would be fun.
Even like a lot of older movies too, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or even something like Psycho. It would just be. I just like seeing a movie on the big screen in the movie theater chairs with their sound systems. Like it's so vastly different than the couch.
Blade Runner. That'd be cool.
Any of Denis Villeneuve's movies. Yeah, Blade Runner, Arrival, Prisoners. We already said those movies are good theater movies.
Transformers, Dark Side of the Moon. I would love to see that again. What are some of the other movies that you're looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to Killers of the Flower Moon. It's you've got Martin Scorsese directing his two muses together in a movie. It's the first time they've been on screen together since I think Leo was like a little kid. You're going to have Leonardo DiCaprio acting alongside Robert De Niro, legends of the acting industry. I just hope because it's an Apple TV movie that the quality is still up there, but it's getting a theater release, which bodes well for it. I'm so excited to see what that brings.
How long is it in theaters for? Probably
I think it's only a week or two because the wide release is on this list also.
Do you know if it'll be in a theater near us?
October 6th to October 20th, it looks like. Might stay in theaters, but at the point that it's on streaming, nobody else will probably see it.
Right. There was another movie that we found out about not too long ago. We talked about it on another episode, but I don't remember the name. It's about AI taking over.
Creator.
Yeah.
Creator. That comes out September 29th.
Yeah, that one looked good.
I'm excited for that. I'm also really excited there's a special anniversary re-release of Old Boy coming out to theaters this year. I think the date is in August or September. I'm definitely buying an advance ticket to go see that because I've never seen Old Boy, and I'm waiting for my first experience to be in a theater. Nice. It's a really iconic Korean movie. I think Park Chan-wook directed it. And to get the chance to see a movie that I've never seen that is iconic and already the world knows is beloved, to get to experience it for the first time in theaters without having seen it, that I'm very excited for.
That is really cool.
Okay, so before we wrap everything up, I do have a couple questions for you. I want to kind of go over these movies in terms of kind of like best of, like off the dome. You ready for that?
Superlatives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, first of all, what is your favorite movie that's come out so far in this first half of the year?
It's hard. I'm sure you're not going to like my answer.
Don't
I'm
do
going to
it.
say Creed 3. Yeah. It's just, I love that movie.
This is an easy answer. I saw
I
it's a
know.
softball. I
I
underhanded it to you.
I know.
I gave
I
this,
know.
and you were just supposed to go Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And you had
I hear you. I hear you. That movie is fantastic. If we do best of the year, then yeah, I'll put it there. Like you can have a movie that you like more, but you recognize another movie's better.
So Across the Spider-Verse is my favorite and my personal opinion for best movie of the year so far. What is your opinion for best movie of the year?
Well, you're probably not going to like this one either. No, just kidding. Across the Spider-Verse.
Not gonna like this one either, but Shazam 2.
Yeah. I feel like that one came out last year.
Yeah, it feels like so long ago, but it was like
Right.
April or May or something. It came out around the time I think Guardians 3 did.
Yeah.
But very forgettable. I think that I really love Across the Spider-Verse. It's so phenomenal. I've gushed over it enough on the show, though. What about your favorite performance of the year? Do you have a favorite?
The Guardians was really good. And I know that's not like a specific person, but that cast is like so encompassing. You know, I think they all did a really good job. I really liked Rocket in that movie. And I know like we don't like actually get to see the actor's face or anything, but I feel like it was a really strong performance from all people involved in making Rocket come to life.
Yeah. No, very, very valid choice. And like if we're going with mostly voice acting, if we're going to Rocket, if we're going to voice acting, best performance of the year thus far, it's got to be someone from Across the Spider-Verse. I could pick any of them. Shamik Moore, Oscar Isaac, Haley Steinfeld. I'll take any of those as my pick.
All right, there we go.
I think John Wick.
Are all of these just going to be Across the Spider-Verse for you?
No, but I think we got to acknowledge the Keanu Reeves performance for John Wick 4, just like the physicality of the role.
Yeah,
that's what
for
I
sure.
want to. That's what I would want to compliment for that. The other cast members of
Tom
Guardians
Cruise
3,
might take that.
Tom Cruise is
from
about to
them.
steal. Yeah, this is gonna be freaking insane. And we haven't. This will come out after that, right?
He rides a motorcycle off a cliff.
This will come out after Dead Reckoning. We've watched it, so
Yeah.
my head's gonna have already
Yeah.
probably exploded.
Yes.
I have nothing good to say about the performances in Ghosted.
Or The Flash. Worst movie of the year.
The Flash,
The Flash, I would agree.
somehow worse than Ghosted. I don't know. They're both pretty bad.
Worst performance of the year.
Ezra Miller in The Flash.
I would have to agree. I feel like some people have been saying that like he did a good job because
don't
he
get it.
portrayed two characters, but like
I
just
didn't-
because you're playing two characters in a movie doesn't mean you did a good job.
Yeah.
You know,
Just 'cause-
like
yeah.
you had double the work, but it doesn't mean that it was good.
They should not have done double the work.
No.
I haven't seen any like knock my sock off performances this year, but I also haven't seen like the Oscar bait movies that I've been anticipating the most. I have watched a lot of really good movies this year that didn't come out this year that were my first viewing. Like I had never seen Schindler's List. So I've seen a lot of movies that I really, really enjoyed, but not as much performances that occurred in releases this year.
What about most funny?
Oh, most funny? I probably have to give that to No Hard Feelings. I don't think
Okay.
you've seen that yet, but that
haven't.
movie.
I really want to though. It looks good.
Yeah, it's an R-rated comedy with Jennifer Lawrence. Super surprising in a lot of ways. They really take advantage of the R rating, and it's just me. I was like gasping. I was sitting next to my fiance, and we were like, I was like rolling in my seat at some points, like, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this. I laughed really hard throughout the entire movie, and Jennifer Lawrence, I think, put it on her back in a lot of ways. She did a really phenomenal job.
Yeah, that one looked good. There's also another movie coming out that looked funny. We saw a commercial for it when we were at theaters, I think for Across the Spider-Verse, but it is Joyride.
Joyride.
Yeah, that one looks pretty funny.
Yeah, I think that's out now or coming out this weekend, one or the other.
Yeah, something like that. For me, most funny out of what I've seen, there hasn't been a lot of. I haven't seen like a straight up comedy.
So you've got Shazam 2, you've got Flash, you got Guardians.
I think Guardians, I would have to say, mainly because I haven't seen like a comedy or something.
There is some really good humor in Guardians
Yeah.
still, even if it's not a pure comedy. It's got a lot of action.
right.
Any other superlatives you can think of? We already said our most anticipated movies of the year. I think I'd probably have to join you in that with saying Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning right now. But then there's, the other pretentious side of me that wants to see the Scorsese movie.
So What if we went through our ranking system and we picked the best movie for each of those categories?
Okay, best for
We kinda-
story.
Yeah, we can kind of do it real quick.
Okay.
Best for story.
Across the
Let me guess.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I would agree. That one's pretty good. And then we have what's next? Acting.
Best for acting, Creed 3.
I'd have to agree. Guardians, I would say, is kind of close, but just a different type of movie.
I'm not rating Across the Spider-Verse in the same scale because it's voice acting, but I just think they're different categories. Not that I think one is worse.
Well,
or,
I think the animation goes into the acting. Like how they display the character's energy, how they display the character's personality. I think that would go into acting. It's like it's pencil acting.
yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
It's
stick
hard to
with.
compare.
I'm sticking with the physical performances, the
Yeah.
live action performances.
And then our next one is sound design,
I think our next one's cinematography.
cinematography. All right.
I mean, I'd have to give it to Across the Spider-Verse if it's for overall.
Yeah,
But for live action, I'd say Creed 3.
I would say Creed 3 for live action, and then Across the Spider-Verse is crazy unique, so like it's got to be talked about. But sound design for our next one.
Honestly, Guardians and John Wick should be close runners up, in my opinion, in that cinematography category also.
Yeah, John Wick did look really good. Sound design, I would have to say Across the Spider-Verse. How about you?
I kind of want to say Elemental. I really like
Okay.
the soundtrack in Elemental. And then just when you're looking at animated movies in general, the creativity of sound design is so amplified because they have to invent every single sound. Some of the sounds for a live action movie can be made in camera, even if a lot, if not most of them, are Foley work or post.
I would say a large percentage of them are done not in camera.
Yeah. But there's also a lot of opportunity to just capture real world sounds, I should say, even if an aspect of it is Foley where they're making it.
They capture the sounds like the same way. It's a Foley artist doing it after the fact.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, maybe not saying so well, is that for something like Elemental, they have to invent sounds that don't exist, like a water person walking. Whereas
I get what you're
like
saying.
Creed is a punch.
Yeah,
A punch exists.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Elemental, I think is just that world is really hard because you have to create sounds for fire walking, fire grabbing something, water grabbing something.
I see what you're saying. That was a better explanation.
Yeah.
What's our next one? Set design? Set and character design?
I believe so. Yeah.
I would have to go the
By
Across
a
Spider-Verse.
mile across the Spider-Verse. This is 100%.
Yeah. And then I feel like Barbie could be up there once we've seen it.
Oh, it looks
'cause it
so
looks-
creative.
Yeah, it looks very like encompassing in this new world.
Yeah, it captures that universe very well. And yeah, they're very committed to it as well. They're not half-assing the Barbie tone.
Yeah. And then rewatchability. I would say I could watch Creed 3 or Across the Spider-Verse anytime. I'd say it'd have to be a tie. I've seen Creed more. I really like Across the Spider-Verse. It's not out on streaming anywhere, so I haven't seen it as many times as Creed. So what would you say?
Across the Spider-Verse is going to win me over for rewatchability as well.
Yeah. So that goes through our whole list of, 6 categories?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good way to wrap up this episode. Do you have any closing remarks or thoughts for the box office of 2023?
No, I need everyone to kind of like give me your energy, like a spirit bomb.
Yeah.
Give me your energy.
Not your money, though.
No,
Just-
and your money. I need a little more help than Aaron does right now. And my team is $1 billion behind. So like, let's pump these numbers up. I do not want to root against the success of the Marvels or Aquaman because a lot of people worked hard on them. I just want to root for more success for my movies because I really want to win this.
That's a good way of putting it. And I would say the same about my movies. And so far, the majority of people have put in a lot of support towards these movies that I've drafted and the movies that you've done. None of them, I would say, have done like crazy bad.
Besides,
Like
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was definitely like a disappointment, but it didn't lose money like The Flash.
It's probably pretty close to losing money when you add in all the marketing.
Marketing, yeah.
And then take out the percentage that theaters got.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, but this next 2 weeks that we have for movie theater experiences are going to be
Action-packed.
off the charts. We got 3 in the next 2 weeks, which is a lot, and I'm very excited for it.
But definitely let us know if we missed any movies that we should have talked about. Let us know what your favorite movie of the year has been thus far and why. We want to hear all these conversations and the topics, so hit us up and we'll make sure to get you guys back. Don't forget that we do have merchandise that is available online in the Etsy store under Backseat Directing. You can get these awesome t-shirts. Make sure to share us with a friend, like, follow, rate, subscribe to the show, and that's a wrap.